And we're back. We're back live. It is Monday. It is March. So excited. Ah, goodness gracious. I'm really excited about investment opportunities. I'm teaching exponential growth and decay in Algebra 2. You guys are obviously done with that, anyway. But I'm going to be teaching that, or I have been teaching that. I've been talking about like investment strategies because we did a thing where we took $1,000 and we deposited in TD Bank for 2 years, and over the course of 2 years, TD Bank only earned 40 cents in interest. And they're like, "Well, how are we supposed to earn money?" And I was talking about different investment strategies. And so I'm talking about these different investment strategies. And they asked me, like, "Mr. Mark, do you have any money invested in the stock market?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I have about $100 or so invested in an electric car company, which at the time was trading at about 18 or 19. And since then, it's gone up by over 50%. And I'm like, oh, snap. I'm kind of excited. Invest in electric car companies now, not Tesla. Tesla's too expensive. But invest in electric car companies now. Anyway, for those of you on the live stream, if you would, I would appreciate a comment in that chat for my record so I can update stuff as we move along. That would be fantastic if you would before we get started. Now, obviously, you just switched in. I'm going to have to try to catch up on other stuff. We are starting a new chapter today, which you'll be fine with because it's new information that... Yeah, trust me, you'll be fine with it. But the first two chapters, we'll have to go back and catch up on stuff, but we'll figure that stuff out, But yeah, we're going to be starting a new chapter today. We're going to be talking about fair division. And my apologies to those of you in the chat. You will not be able to experience Skittles. You won't. Unfortunately, I cannot reach through that screen and give it to you. You know what's crazy? I taught this class last year, clearly, in the spring. And I taught the class up through the middle of March. And at the beginning of March, I was able to do the Skittles lesson. So my students were able to get the Skittles. And then everything shut down. And I wasn't able to do anything else. And all the extra little stuff that I wanted to do with like cakes and whatnot, I couldn't do. And eventually, I got to this really cool part in one chapter about the Fibonacci sequence and the divine proportion. And I took an apple and I sliced that apple horizontally so that you could see the pattern on the inside. No one know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Do you know what shape it is? No. Oh. I have never sliced an apple. Yeah, if you slice an apple horizontally, inside you'll see the shape of a five-pointed star. Yeah, because that five-pointed star is actually a microcosm of what we call the divine proportion, which we will learn in this class at some point. But I wasn't able to do it live in person, but I was able to do it at home because I had the top-down camera, and I was able to, and I was able to show everyone. Everyone's like, yeah, and they all high-fived each other. True story. Anyway, thank you guys for your comments in the chat so far, and we're about to get started. Now, you don't have to do anything just yet because the first part of this lesson, the first part of today's lesson is going to be about Skittles. As a reminder, that's why I brought up the fact that you just switched in. As a reminder, you do have an assessment due for me tomorrow. You have an assessment due tomorrow on weighted voting systems. There is a PDF. It is due tomorrow. As I said, I was going to assign it on Friday, which I did. And it's due tomorrow. And I said, hey, I'll make it due Tuesday so that I can give you a reminder in class. Yeah. So, but like I said, you just switched in. You don't have any of the information on that whatsoever. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so let me get started with some Skittles. Now, for those of you in the chat, I've been disinfecting my desk. I've been disinfecting myself in an attempt to, in an attempt to keep things as clean as humanly possible. And for those of you in the chat, if you want to leave your comments there during the lesson, if you have questions, I'm always here. So I got some Skittles right here. Here we go, some Skittles. Now, obviously with Skittles, you got different flavors. Usually they have them on the back. They've changed the flavors, actually, over the course of time. Do you know what green used to be? Green used to be lime. It legit used to be lime. Now it's green apple. What? I didn't even know that. Yeah, look at this. Hold on, zooming in. Now, this is important. especially in regards to what we're going to be learning today with fair division. But the fact that, purple is grape, yellow is lemon, green is now green apple, not lime. Red used to be cherry. Now it's strawberry. Okay, this is a basic Skittles pack. And then orange is, of course, orange. So this is what we got. These are our flavors. Nothing special, no tropical berry blast or some junk like that. These are the 5 flavors. Now, there are some flavors that you hold in higher esteem than others. And you know that. You know some people prefer some flavors over others, and there are some flavors that you absolutely detest. That's fair, I would think. So, for example, name a flavor that you would absolutely say, yes, that's the first one I would pick of these up here. Strawberry? Grape? Apple? Okay, 3 different flavors. That's fantastic. Is there one that you guys would absolutely detest? I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Instead of detesting, how about the last one you would pick? Really, strawberry? Okay, all right. For me, it would probably be orange, just saying. But again, we all have different tastes. We all have different opinions. We all have different things that we value in these flavors. And that is important. Because today is about fair division. Now, in a perfect world, you'd be like, well, if I had a friend and I was splitting a bag of Skittles, we would just, talk about what we like, talk about what we didn't like, and just kind of break it up evenly. You would try to do your best. Yeah, that's cool. If you're friends and you have each person's interest at heart. But if you're just splitting a bag of Skittles with a stranger, which I don't know why you would, but let's just say you are, or you're trying to split something else. Maybe it's not even Skittles. Maybe it's not candy. Maybe it's actual objects. Maybe it's stocks. I don't know. It could be anything. We're going to be talking about those things. There is a certain game that can be played in order for everybody to get what they bargained for. And what I mean by that is this. If you take a little pile of Skittles and you have 2 people and you try to split them up, I would say, okay, cool. These are the Skittles that I want. That's where I place all of my value. These are the Skittles that I don't want. That's where I place none of my value. But if I got everything that I wanted, what about the other person? That is not fair. I am not taking the other person's opinion into account. If I just take out the flavors that I want, not everyone's going to win. The idea of fair division is not just for one person to win. The idea of fair division is for everybody to win. That's the general idea of fair division. So, basic example. Let me crack open these Skittles. Again, sanitation, just to make sure. It'd be weird to kind of taste the Skittles and actually have them be, let my hands dry a little bit. But let them taste like, what is this? A hand sanitizer. I couldn't even think of the word hand sanitizer. Goodness gracious, hand sanitizer. Okay. So first, let me pour all them Skittles in there. There we go. Good to go. They're in this little cup right here. Oh, here we go. And we got these going on right here. So let's just say, let me zoom out. Let's just say that this is the little pile of Skittles that we have right here. Wait, say it again? I know, right? But still, that's just what randomly came out of the bag. I don't know, So there's 7 Skittles. Now, if you're splitting up 7 Skittles amongst 2 people, technically that might be okay. Just because you're trying to get everyone a fair amount doesn't mean that they have to be split up evenly. 3.5, not 3.5. Yeah, 3.5, right? Yeah. That's not necessarily what's fair because you value certain flavors more or less than others. So you guys actually both said lemon, right? For your least favorite? Yeah. That's cool. What's your opinion on lemon, Patrick? All right, that's fine, So here's the general idea behind fair division. I look at these Skittles. Let me move them over so the people in the chat can see them a little bit better. I look at these 7 Skittles, And I think, okay, there's person A and there's person B, and they want to divide these Skittles fairly. Person A, their job in this game is to go up and split the Skittles into two separate groups that, in their opinion, would be equal to each other. In their opinion, would be equal to one another. So, for example, how would you split up these Skittles? How would you split up these Skittles? Tell me. So that each split, or the one split that you make, both sides are equal, in your opinion.
I would give each person two purple, two yellow, two green, and then just split the extra yellow one.
Well, you can't split it.
Then no one gets it.
No, you got it somehow.
What? Like I can't split it in half?
Nope. Think of it this way. Think of it this way. Imagine that instead of 7 Skittles, it was like 7 paintings.
Okay.
You can't split a painting.
Well, I would give like one person like the better 3 paintings and then like the less better 4 paintings because they get more, so like they would be less interesting.
For example, you have to divide this into 2 piles where you believe each pile is of equal desire to you.
Okay.
Just to you.
Just to me.
Yes. Don't care about the other person.
Okay. So then, I don't even know how I would do this. So I guess each person would get 1 grape. And then,
Oh, I can't see it on camera, but
and then one person would get the 2 greens, and then the other person would get the 3 yellows.
like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So in your opinion, you would put your desire to have each of these piles as 50-50?
Yeah.
Okay. That's exactly what we're looking for to start this little game. See, because clearly there are flavors that people want more than others. And I say flavors, but like I mentioned, like paintings. Like you can't split a painting. If there were 7 paintings and you had to split them evenly, you had to figure out a system. Now, the system that we have here, a fair division, I'll talk about the names of stuff later. But she believes, I shouldn't say believes because this is your opinion. In your opinion, you put 50% of your desire in this pile and 50% of your desire in this pile. So, whichever pile you get 50% or more. Now, Nicole, for example, I know you said ew to both piles, right? You have 100% desire for something, but obviously this isn't really much. You have to take your 100% desire and split it amongst these 2 piles. Which pile would you say you want more? The one with the green.
Yeah.
Prefer green more so. Now, this is hard to say, obviously, because this is, opinion. But she desires them 50-50. That's how she split them. You say you desire this more. By what percent? If you had to estimate a number.
I probably want that one more like 60%, 60, 70.
Okay. No, that's good, though. Okay, let's go with the 60 then. Okay. You weigh these piles 50-50. She weighs these piles 60-40. If she gets this pile, which you're about to in a moment, and if you get this pile, she's getting 60% of her desires, and you're getting 50% of your desires. You both are getting a fair share. Ultimately, when I said to split this up originally, you said just, okay, split them up and then split the 1 in half. Can't do it. Now, technically, that would be, quote unquote, fair. But if you can't do it, you have to figure out a different system. This is a 2-player system that we're going to get into the notes for in a little bit. But this is a 2-player system in which, well, we're literally getting what we want. Everybody's getting what we want. In fact, she's getting a little bit more. But you're okay with that because you're not a fan of those flavors, So, here, hold on. Again, my hands are clean. Out of the 2 piles, I'm going to give you these. There we go.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you these. Ah, I almost tripped and fell and died.
50%.
Yes. But I'm just saying, because you got 50% of what you wanted, and you got 60% of what you wanted. Fair game. Yeah, if you want. You're in a divider, you know. So let me try it again. Now I'm gonna try and put my thumb on the scale for a moment. What flavor did you say you prefer more so than anything? Great. Okay. I'm not leaving all these on here. I am not leaving all these on here. And what flavor do you like? Meh.
Strawberry.
Okay, that's good. Okay, hold on. So let me leave those on there. Okay. Oh, I'm frozen. Here we go. Sydney says to split the Skittle with a katana. No, thank you. So, Patrick, in your mind, if I had to split these up, according to your desires, if I had to split these up, what's your opinion on orange, by the way?
Yeah, I like the orange.
Cool. So this would be like, that's 100% of what you want. And this is 0% of what you want. But that's not fair to the other person that you're splitting this with at all. It's not. So you might be like, okay, I'm going to give a couple away. I'll give these away. Or maybe I'll keep one for myself. But still, this is 100% of what you want. Or maybe that's 90% of what you want, and this is 10% of what you don't want. That's not really fair. So instead, again, the rules of this game, there is a divider and there is a chooser. Now we're going to talk about the strategies involved with this a little bit, but we can't do this. You, as the divider, have to figure out, in your opinion, what is a 50-50 split according to your desires. So what do you think?
Give myself 3 of the gray.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, put it down here.
2.
Okay.
And I'd probably give myself split the orange in half, 2 and 2. And then just split the strawberry.
How so? There's 3 of them.
3. The person on the right gets 2 and I get 1.
Okay. So, in your opinion, both these piles are 50-50. Okay. Now, you get to choose this time. He says they're 50-50. That's his opinion. What's your opinion?
I'd say like 70-30, but like 70 on the right side.
70 over here?
Yeah.
Nice. So that's even more. Is it because of the red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one red's very like prestigious.
I gotcha. Prestigious. No, but for real though, it's like he says they're 50-50. As the divider, that's his job. Now you as the chooser are like, no, I believe this is more to me, to my opinion. This is 70% to me. That's where I put my value. All right. So you get 70% of what you want, and he gets 50% of what he wants. Fair game. All right. Well, yeah. Here, I'm gonna give you one. I'm not gonna do another example like that. Oh no, I'll take that one. It's not fair that
How many red did you get? 1? Oh. Ooh, tough.
Yeah, don't worry about the one that fell on the ground. I'll get it later. Anyway, so if you would, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, I'm gonna need those notebooks out and open. Let's see what we got here. We'll go back to some more Skittles because I got some more things to talk about in regards to Skittles. And I got another bag of Skittles to deal with. You know, in years past, Blasey would sell candy right outside his door.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to get it right from him. Not anymore. COVID. Goodness.
I remember getting little red from
Today is the 1st of March. We did it. And this is called fair division. Now, unfortunately, one day you may experience the following, where there's an inheritance because somebody died. I say, unfortunately, one day you may have to go through something like that. And if there's ever a debate, not over the money, but over objects that are being passed down as heirlooms or whatever, that may be a situation for fair division, because you may value an item because it may not be like expensive to you, but it may have a lot of sentimental value to you or something like that. In terms of Skittles, you had flavor value in one flavor or another. Same thing could be said for cakes or something like that. If you're talking property, or houses or something like that, you may prefer a certain house because of its location or because of stuff that's inside of it. You may put more value in, heated bathroom floors over the view from the back porch. People put different values in different things, but there is a way to divide these things fairly so that everybody gets what they want. It's more of a logic game. So I have some notation that I have to start, notation that I'm going to refer to. First of all, bullet point, the goods. The goods are the items being divided. Now, mind you, it may not be multiple items. It might just be a singular item, which we're going to talk about. Like, how do you divide a singular item? Like a car, for example. It is possible to do it in such a way as long as the other parties involved get financially compensated, which we'll talk about. Another word for the goods, this is actually a technical math term, is also the booty. I'm not even kidding, it is. It's there. It's the booty. Like a pirate booty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. But still, it's weird to think like you could have like a singular item being divided. Like, how do you do that? Well, there is a way, but again, it involves financial compensation. But we'll talk about that. Next, I have the players. Now, in the previous chapter in weighted division, we talked about players being involved in a vote. And this is a similar thing in which you have players. They are the parties entitled to share the booty. Hilarious. But that is the technical term that we are going with. They're doing Mr. Bengal?
Yep.
Okay.
And Rumble.
Okay. Have fun.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Anyway, I say party is entitled to share the booty because obviously it's not like anybody could just walk in and be like, hey, I want that. Like, no, there has to be an agreement that the parties involved are entitled to share the item or items that are going to be split or divided. So in terms of the game that we just played, the goods or the booty were the Skittles. And the players were literally you guys. Yay, we did it. I mean, you weren't entitled to my Skittles, but I said, hey, I'm going to share Skittles with you today. All right. Now we have value systems. Now, value systems, you can probably infer what this is going to be about based on me asking you about your desires in Skittles. You value certain flavors more than others. You value certain flavors less than others. In a value system, each player looks at the booty. Again, that's a technical term. And assigns value to each subset of the booty. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about that statement. I'll leave that up there. Actually, I'll move this up all the way. I got to talk a little bit more about that statement just so we're all on the same page with it. Here we go. But you're assigning value to a subset of the booty. When I originally had those Skittles up there, and I said split them up 50-50, you were assigning value by splitting them into subsets and saying, I value this half and I value this half. Then the other player, in this case, Nicole was the other player in that first example, she looked at those two subsets and she assigned value to them. In that sense, she said, that one definitely more, maybe 60%, 70%, but she valued that one subset more by giving it a value according to her opinion. And then we did it again. I think what you said, like 70-30 or something? Yeah. So, it's like, even stronger, There is a way for everybody to get what they want. I'm sure you know those friends that are very giving, where a friend would be like, don't worry, I'll take all the dumb flavors, Okay, that's fine, and that's noble, but that's not what this is about. In fair division, everybody gets what they want, in a sense. It's not that you get 100% of what you want, but depending on the number of players, everybody gets a fair amount. If there were 2 players, a fair amount would be 50% or more of the value. If there were 3 players, which we do have 3 players right here, it would be fair if everybody here got 33% or more of the value. That's just a fair way of looking at it. And there is a game that we can play with dividers and choosers, which we will today. There is a game that we're going to play with the Skittles where there are going to be 3 players. And everybody is going to get a fair amount. Or a fair value. I shouldn't say a fair amount. I should say a fair value. Think about the painting thing that I talked about before. You can't split a painting. That'd be ridiculous. Why would you split a painting? But if you have 2 people and they both want this painting and they're both entitled to the painting, that's very clear. They're entitled to the painting. If it's like, okay, I really want the painting. No, I really want the painting. What are we going to do? You can do that. You guys know old TV sitcom tropes where they split a room down the middle with tape? They split a room down the middle with tape. You know what I'm talking about? It's an old TV sitcom trope from the 80s. No, they just split the room. But anyway, well, because maybe they got mad at each other. I don't know. But then I was like, I want the painting. I want the painting. Okay, fine. I'll have the paintings on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. That's another stupid thing of going about it. But here's the thing. One person is going to get the painting and the other person's not. And the way that you make that fair is there's financial compensation. So that each person is getting 50% of what they value or more. We'll talk about it. It's like, oh man, I really want that cash, but I really want that painting. We'll talk about that in future examples. And I didn't make this up. Booty is actually the technical term here. Okay. We have to assume certain things. You know what happens when you assume, right?
Yeah.
What?
A donkey on you.
Huh?
A donkey.
No, you make a bad word out of you.
Oh, I thought it was you on donkeys.
No, you make a bad word out of you.
And me.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, but you could say donkey too, because a donkey technically is.
I know you missed my joke though.
Yeah, I think it just, yeah.
I said out of you, implying you.
Yeah.
And then you said and me, implying you again. I love that joke. Anyway, there are certain things we have to assume. I'm sorry. First, each player is rational, seeking to maximize their share. It's not one of those things where somebody's going to take one for the team and say, it's okay, guys, you got this. I'll just not have any Skittles. No, that's not rational. The rational idea would be that every player is looking to maximize their share. And if there are 2 players, you would maximize them by getting 50% or more. If there were 5 players, you would try to maximize it by getting 20% or more. It really depends on how many players you have. Next, each player cooperates, willing to play, accepts the rules. Each player is cooperating. They're willing to play and they accept the rules. That is, again, an assumption we have to make here. It's not like one person's just going to grab the couple Skittles and run. Or whatever it ends up being. Now, here's the thing. I cheated a little bit. I cheated a little bit at the beginning when I asked you your flavors. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? I cheated. I totally cheated. I confess. That goes into the next statement. Privacy. Each player has no useful info on the others. They have no useful information on the others. Because knowing what, and I did this specifically when Patrick with you, knowing what your favorite and least favorite were, I stacked the deck in order to get an interesting result. I did that on purpose. I confess. But in reality, there is an assumption of privacy. If somebody, again, unfortunately, I one day you may have to go through this, unfortunately, but if somebody dies and you inherit a few objects, let's say, clearly you're going to know you should know the other person involved because it may be a family member. And if that family member knows, like, well, you really want that and I really want this, that's useful information. There is a certain assumption of privacy. But obviously real life doesn't really do that for us. And then finally, symmetry. Each player has equal rights to share the booty. This is a certain assumption that we're making. Each player has equal rights to share the booty. If it's something that's being inherited or it's just something that you both own, it's like, well, we're going to split this up now. The assumption is they have equal rights. It seems silly to kind of state all of that, but those are things that we got to kind of knock out just to kind of get that done before I can talk about the methods here. So I have one more statement to make, and then I can talk about the methods. And then after I talk about the methods, we can play the 3-player game and get more Skittles. I'm assuming no one's going to, at 8 a.m. be like, no Skittles.
Wait, what about a 4-player game?
I'm okay. I got coffee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're good.
Technically, we could play a 4-player game, and I'll talk about the theoretical 4-player game. I will. Because technically, you can play with as many players as you want. You technically can. But obviously, there is a finite number of Skittles. Finally, there is this statement that I want to call fair share. End quote. Fair share has its own definition unto itself. Fair share. Why did I put that? I have a note here that says S denotes A, and I'm like, what does that mean? Did I totally miswrite something? Whatever. Fair share is the share of the booty. Fair share is, okay, let's say there are N players in the game. Let's say there are N players in the game. Again, you can have as many as you want, technically. But there is a certain reasonable number, I guess, depending on how many objects there are. A fair share to each player is a percentage greater than or equal to 1 divided by n. There's a couple things I want to put here, but let me just recap what I just said. There are n players in the game, then a fair share to each player is a percentage greater than or equal to 1 divided by n. This is in the opinion of each player. I want to emphasize it's in the opinion of each player. So, for example, if there are 2 players, 1 divided by 2 is 50%. If there are 10 players, 1 divided by 10 is 10%. The idea is that everyone's going to get something greater than or equal to that particular percentage. If there are 10 players, then each player is entitled to 10%, at least 10%. Meaning if they get more in terms of their valued opinion, then so be it. But as long as you get 10%, you have nothing to complain about if there are 10 players. In a little bit, we're going to be playing the game with 3 players. And as long as you get 33% of what you value, fair game. As long as you get 33% or more. Oh no, they got 70%. I only got 33%. It's a fair game if there are 3 players. Just saying. Skittles. Okay. So, a couple of methods that I'm going to throw at you. I'll have to talk about cake another day. Man, I really wish I could. Is it too early for cake?
Yeah.
No.
What?
I don't even like cake.
That's fine. It's totally
I
fine.
could go for a fat slice of cake right now.
Oh gosh. It was so funny because like again, in years past, I got these like mini cakes from ShopRite. And you could like slice them up like really nicely, and I had like plates and forks and stuff like that. It was great because I would have like, someone would like cut it with a cake cutter. It was like so messy. Can't do it during COVID. Anyway. So, first method right here. This is what we did before. This is the divider chooser method. This is with 2 players. This is the divider chooser method. This is literally what we did before. 1 player divides. Preferably, I'm going to put in parentheses 50-50 value. The other player chooses a share. The divider gets the leftover. I'm going to ask you an opinion question in a moment. Who would you rather be, the divider or the chooser?
Chooser for sure.
Why?
Because there's a chance of you getting a higher percentage of what you want. Like you could get like 70% of what you want.
Ah.
Instead of, like,
That's interesting. Nicole, what were you going to say?
yeah, probably because the chooser.
Yeah. Honestly, in that's the rationale, actually. That's the literal rationale. The chooser is the better position to have if the divider plays fairly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If the divider splits at 50-50, the divider is definitely going to get 50% of what they want. But as you just said, if you're the chooser, you can get more than 50% of your value. Possibly. So it is the better option to be the chooser in that case. Absolutely. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so I'm going to describe a situation. I'm going to describe a situation, and then we're actually going to play this game. Do I want to? Okay, yeah. Okay, there's actually multiple ways of playing it, but I'll show you the one method today. There's something called, with 3 players, there's something called the lone divider, and there's something called the lone chooser. It really is weird, but we're going to talk about this. So I'm going to show you how we do this. Today, we're going to talk about lone divider. The lone divider method. Basically, you have one divider who is the lone divider, and then multiple choosers. Now, I say multiple choosers because obviously I don't know how many we're going to have in the future. You can have like 5 choosers. You can have 6 choosers. In this case, we're only going to have 2 choosers. So in our example, the divider divides booty into equal shares. I'll put 1 divided by n. Remember, n is the number of players. But the divider divides the booty into equal shares. If there are 3 players, the divider would split them up 33%. If there were 10 players, the divider would split them up 10%, 10% all across the board. Then the choosers independently declare bids. And I'll talk about what this means a little bit. Declare bids for each share. Shares are distributed fairly according to bids. Divider gets leftover. Now, this seems like a lot right here, but I'm going to show all of this using Skittles. So in the lone divider method, I'm going to come back to all of this. I'm just going to scroll through this a little bit. In the lone divider method, there's 1 divider and multiple choosers. The divider divides the booty into equal shares, 1 divided by n. Then the choosers independently declare bids for each share. I'm going to show you what that means when we get to the Skittles. Shares are then distributed fairly according to the bids, and the divider gets the leftover. So in our game where we're going to have 3 players, the divider is going to get 33% no matter what, 33% of the value. As the divider, you're technically getting, in your opinion, what is a fair share, and everyone else might get more than what they bargained for. I don't know, we'll see. But ultimately, it comes down to 3 things. 1, there is a division. 2, there is bidding. And 3, there is distribution. That is typically the order of events that happen when it comes to fair division. There is a division, there is a bidding, and there is a distribution. Even when we did 2 players, we still have that technically. 1 person divided. The other person told me what they valued more. That was the bidding. And then we distributed Skittles. So let's actually do this with some Skittles. I'm going to open up the other bag, get more Skittles. There we go. I did get 2 bags for a reason. So let's actually do this up fairly. All right. Hand sanitizer. Don't want to get that in my Skittles. Okay. Let my hands dry. Okay. It's a lot more Skittles. Okay. Now, this is going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little weird because we got a lot of Skittles here. And we got 3 people. Okay. I'm going to pick someone randomly. Amongst y'all. And one of you is going to come up here, sanitize, and split the Skittles into 3 equal shares in your opinion. If you are not the chooser, if you are not the divider, then I'm going to need you to do something for me after things are split up, because you're not going to just take your Skittles right away. So, again, to make this fair, random, blah, 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 blah. You'll be 1, you'll be 2, you'll be 3. True randomness, I know. Rand int 1, 3. Chapow! It's 3. You're the divider. So, come here. Sanitize, let your hands dry.
No, that means he gets like the. Oh, it's like worse to be the divider. Yeah.
Well, it's not work. The divider still gets a fair share.
Right. But technically, he doesn't have a chance of getting
More than 33%. Yes, correct. Yeah. So just make sure they're dry. You don't want hand sanitizer on your Skittles, So stand over there. Now I'm going to try and zoom out a little just so people could see it a little bit better, and I'll move the piles accordingly. You need to take all these Skittles and you need to split them up into 3 piles where you feel that each pile is of equal value to you. Yeah. And I made a big deal about the hand sanitizers because, again, you don't want people touching your Skittles in the age of COVID,
Did you really get COVID from Skittles?
No. It's not that you're getting it from the Skittles. It's that the germs might be on like someone's hands, and they may transfer to the Skittle, and then the Skittles transfer to you. Yeah. So just in all safeness, So he's got 5 piles of different colors. That's a weird noise outside. All right. It's a lot more orange.
Yeah.
And again, don't worry about them. This is all about you. This is all what you value. Very serious Skittle business.
I don't know what to do with this last one.
Can't split it. You gotta do something. Remember, don't worry. It's your opinion. I mean, it's a hot take on an opinion, So, all right, cool. So I'm just gonna put these together. Thank you. You're good for now. I'm just gonna put these together. So people can see them, move them above the glare so people can see them right there. There we go. So we got 3 piles. We have pile A, B, and C, let's call them, for the sake of argument. And in Patrick's opinion, he values them 33% across the board. What I need you guys to do, independently of each other, in a kind of a secret ballot type situation, you don't have to write this down, but you have to decide and kind of stick to it and don't change anything. You have to assign value to these piles. But when you do so, you have 100% to split up. So in the end, when you assign value to these piles, your 3 numbers should add up to 100%. So take a minute, think about it. I'm going to do a little table over here. Yeah, just put a 33 there. Now, obviously, I know that adds up to 99, but it's like, 33 and a third. You know the deal. So what are your numbers? So which one? Isn't there one that you would value more than others? Probably one. So how would you split up your numbers then? You want to come back? What do you got? 30, 50, 20. Okay. We'll figure this out. Any reason why that middle pile?
There's an extra one.
An extra what? I didn't even think about that. Goodness gracious. If it were me, I would try to minimize my yellows and oranges, and I would try to maximize my red and purples. And I feel I would get that from the middle pile without counting how many there were. What do you think?
I did 40, 30,
40,
30.
30, 30. Perfect. So here's what's going to happen. You value pile B. You value the middle pile at 50%. You value pile A at 40%. Patrick valued all three of them equally across the board. So the fair thing to do in this instance is the most logical thing to do. Allison, you're getting pile B. Nicole, you're getting pile A. Patrick, you're getting the leftover.
That really worked out for Patrick too because he likes the grade. And there's less spread. I mean, he values them equally, but
Yeah. I know that sometimes that doesn't always happen, but he does get an equal share of value at 33%, or a fair share, I should say. So come take your piles. So hold on. This was This was A, B, and C.
So I'm just gonna
So
take the middle pile.
yes,
'cause I know
exactly.
it's B.
And that was yours. There you go. There we go. That was yours.
This really just made my morning.
But I'm just saying, this is the general idea behind fair division. This is the lone divider method. There is also a lone chooser method as well, but we're going to get into that another day. Do I have enough Skittles? Yes. I'm going to keep those Skittles for Wednesday. I won't touch them, I promise. But I'm going to keep those Skittles for Wednesday so that when we actually do the lone chooser method, I do have Skittles left over to kind of do that thing. So I'm so sorry for those of you in the chat. You didn't get any Skittles today. You should feel sad. Anyway, I don't know. That's it for me today. That's honestly all I really want to do. I know I'm a few minutes early here, but that's perfectly fine. For those of you, again, just as a reminder, you do have an assessment due for me tomorrow. I want that done. It's on weighted division, things of that nature. It's really strange if, like, someone's just like, oh, you had discrete math this morning. What did you do? We ate Skittles. It's like, no, but really explain to them what the heck you did. You went through a logical, mathematical process so that everyone got a fair share of Skittles. It's really weird, but that's literally what happens. I love it so much. Again, too bad we can't have cake. But them's the breaks. Okay. Do not forget to leave a comment in the chat if you haven't already done so. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 5 comments, but 4 people leaving comments in the chat. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, if you have any questions on that assessment, make sure you email me, and we'll go from there. All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Technically right now 4. Yeah, it's a smaller class.